Okay, so what really attracted me to the C book was I am a coach. So my job is that in the sense of leadership coaching and life coaching. And I read a lot of books on coaching and development and self-help. And this was, from what I could see, a novel, but it was saying that, it is this whole big life changing that will happen with you while you read this book. So the initial attraction was that it triggered me. And I looked at the book for a couple of months and I was like, am I going to buy this? Am I not going to buy it? But then what made the decision was actually the cleverness of the marketing and the book itself. There's rules around the book. That don't read the book in one go. You got to read up until the little man, then you got to put it down. And then also the secrecy around the black pages and the mirror. And there was just so many questions around the book that the answers were not being said, that I actually got very fascinated in that. I then finally bought the book. And I think the book arriving and, having this whole big unwrapping of this mirror, and you kind of like are trying to get to the answers, and you get your little instruction page, and you kind of like, well, this really has an aura of a presence. So, and then I started engaging with the book, and my goal was to read a world a day. And I just couldn't do that. I kind of like, had to read over a couple of days. And I think what made the most difference for me is, in the work that I do, I deal a lot with clients and clients' worlds. People come to me because there's something in their world that they are struggling with, or there's something in their world that they want to change. And I, as a coach, help them and say to them, listen, what is it that you want to change? Where do you feel stuck? And that journey through the side book became such a personal journey because, we are always working in other people's worlds or entering other people's lives. And, we just don't sometimes know how to react to that. And it really changed the way that I looked at people and their worlds, and that I am a visitor to their world, and that my job is to keep up a mirror and to tell to that person, listen, this is what I see is happening. So from a coaching point of view, it really became a very nice escape and a realization that, this is what's happening in my world and my work. But apart from that, it is also a very personal thing, because in a lot of those characters, you almost saw yourself, and you kind of like worked the journey with those people. And there was a lot of things that I liked about the characters, and there was a lot of things that I didn't like about the characters. And I also enjoyed the going back to the instinct, to the emotion, and to the reason, because there was times in the book where I really tried to make sense of someone's world, and I was like, but you know what, I'm going to pause here and I'm going to go back to emotion and instinct and reason, and I'm going to try and see if I'm reading those sections again, whether it will help me to move forward. And it really did help me to move forward. So that back and front was also a really good indication of how to go through the book. And yeah, and when I completed the book, I was kind of like, oh, this is what it's all about. And then, yeah, it really made a significant influence for me. So how I deal with my life and clients currently is the empathy of, we each enters each other's worlds, and that we can learn from each other, and that everything in the end is just a mirror. So that was my most profound experience with the book, was on that level. And that I would recommend the book to anybody that wants to know more about themselves and about the world, is what I will recommend the book for.